maybe take Beyonce up into a secret prayer. And I'm not scared to speak against Beyonce. What I am saying is that, do you think that someone who mainly listens to secular music, or they don't believe in Jesus, or they don't call themselves a Christian, do you think for 1 second they would stop and analyze Kirk Franklin music, or Kanye West Sunday service songs, or Yolanda Adams, or Mary, or anything that anybody, what's her, Shekinah Glory? No, they're not stopping to listen to that to analyze it, because they already know that it glorifies God. Hey y'all, it's your girl Minister Ari, ex-Minister Ari Usain. I'm back on another video, and I'm speaking today in regards of the Beyoncé Church Girl song, because that's all I keep hearing people talk about. You know, all the ministers on my timeline on YouTube, I just keep hearing them talk about Beyoncé Church Girl song. First of all, let me say this. I never heard Beyonce. I listened to Beyonce. I was just listening to Beyonce before I let go the other day. She has a song with, what's his face? That was on, what's his face? I don't want to. Anyway, she has a song that was on that movie Fight for Temptation. He Still Loves Me. I play that song. She has songs, you know, in regards to love and the matter of the heart. I've heard those songs before, but one song I did not hear is the Church Girl song. And it could be because I asked God not to allow me to hear things, you know, that's unpleasing to him, and to cleanse my heart and my spirit and make me more like him. And maybe some things that people might hear on a day-to-day basis, I've never heard. We might live right next door. And that's because, you know, I'm mindful of what I try to watch in the first place. The stuff I watch is very limited. Like, you probably look at my phone and be like, this belongs to a child. And especially when I got my son, you be like, is this your son phone or your phone? So my thing is, anyway, Beyonce is a secular artist. Let's put that out there. Now, I know she said the Clark sisters was on it, so y'all have every right to be upset with the Clark sisters. You know, I've had them in one of my videos before. Not like had them. I'm not as big as Beyonce, so I'm not saying that it matters as much as Beyonce. But what I'm saying is, Beyonce is a secular artist, and maybe I don't see. That's where I can see why the minister. My thing is this: the Clark sisters shouldn't have been listening to know. Y'all shouldn't have been listening to know. If you see Beyonce on a song, they say Church Girl, and you know you see the stuff that they putting out, that she putting out. You know Beyonce's not a minister. She said in her song, I'm not a preacher, but I could pray for you. Schooling life, she's not a preacher. That's not, you know, Beyonce's a secular music artist. And so I want to remind many of the believers that Jesus was not sent to the world, and neither was his disciples or his ministers or his prophets and prophetess to condemn the world. Okay? He was not sent to the world to condemn the world. But instead, maybe take Beyonce up into a secret prayer. And I'm not scared to speak against Beyonce. What I am saying is that, do you think that someone who mainly listens to secular music, or they don't believe in Jesus, or they don't call themselves a Christian, do you think for 1 second they would stop and analyze Kirk Franklin music, or Kanye West Sunday service songs, or Yolanda Adams, or Mary, or anything that anybody, what's her, Shekinah Glory? No, they're not stopping to listen to that to analyze it, because they already know that it glorifies God. So I'm not trying to be smart or, you know, discredit the ministers, because we need ministers. And also the churches. The song is called Church Girl. Now her husband Jay-Z already told us there ain't no church in a while. We are in the wilderness. And if y'all want to go on the scripture to that, I can come back to scriptures to that. Google scriptures referring to wilderness. Okay? We are in the wilderness. This is warfare in the wilderness. We are not, you know, fighting from the kingdom of heaven, nor is Satan fighting from the kingdom of hell. We are inside the earth. The problem is, the fact of the matter is that y'all have allowed Satan to narrate the Bible, or narrate God's word for so long that y'all don't even understand that, you know, it is what it is. You have to stand up for what you believe in, you know. And I just want y'all to know that God wasn't sent to the world. Jesus was not sent to the world to condemn the world, but to be an example. So, you know how to sing? And I know Beyonce got so much pushing her and endorsing her. You sing a song to the Lord, and you name a church girl, and you cry out to the Lord with that song, and you let God know that, you know, you love him. Because I don't really understand the condemnation of what we already understand to be secular or to not glorify God. Beyonce is not a preacher or a minister who glorifies God. And we, you know, we're not here to pick apart anybody's flaws either. You know, the ministers that spoke, Beyonce, nobody. But we know what Beyonce represents. You know? It's just, you know, that's what it is. You know, and it's kind of like, that's the only way that we really see things as believers these days is by condemnation, when that's not our job to condemn. Somebody might love that song. That song might have liberated somebody. We know that people don't like it. However the case may be, this song is gaining publicity because you sitting up here speaking about how much you don't like it and you don't feel like believers should listen to it. Now, thank God I'm not one of those believers who listen to it because I wanted to hear lyrics. I know what I'm supposed to like. There's so many songs that Beyonce do have that are just, you know, music. And we already know that the Bible and the scripture says that God created music for Satan and not Satan for music. So we know that, you know, Satan is one of the best musicians, if not the best. So this is knowledge that we have. You know, I didn't feel, I don't feel it in my spirit. I don't feel moved to go listen to the song. You know what I'm saying? Because it just, what's for me is for me. How about that? What God has for me is for me. And that's how you got to see things. You got to know that what God has for you is for you. You might not have heard the song. That's what I'm saying about the ministers. The child of God or whoever you're trying to minister to might have heard the song, but then you sitting up here telling them that it's so bad, you know what I'm saying, and especially if they're in their adolescence, they're going to want to go hear the lyrics, and then right then and there, it might click to them. They might love that song, and there you go. What you didn't want to happen because you sitting up here doing God's job. Judgment has a day, and I said that judgment has a day. If you girl, Mr. Are you asking Mr. Are you see, I love y'all.